Mike, from Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance, and I need your help. With September coming up, one of the big events of September is, of course, Shorty September, and I've got a raft of books that I can consider as the short novels I will try and read in September. I'm not brave enough for the 30-30 challenge, but I have compiled a short list, and I'd just like to whistle through them because they're quite wide and varied, and I would really value in the comments you giving a shout out to the ones you think would be the best return of my time in September. There's Edith Wharton's The Reckoning. That's a very short book. I've read Ethan Frome. That's the only Edith Wharton that I've read. I know I've got a long way to go. Less fun, Karl Marx and Franz Engels, The Communist Manifesto. That's in there. Of course, A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. I think I read this many years ago, but I've heard so much raving about it recently on BookTube that I think it's worthy of a reread. Truman Capote's My Side of the Matter. These are all very short books, so they're possible up. The Primer Mystery Brodie by Muriel Spark. I've seen the film long ago, but I've never read the book. Peter Ustinov. I'm a huge Peter Ustinov fan. I think I may have to do a video on that because I've got so many of his books, both fiction and non-fiction, and he's a fascinating raconteur. But this is his book of short stories, Add a Dash of Pity, from the 1960s. And Jerome K. Jerome's Three Men in a Boat. Everyone's saying that's a read that one must get under one's belt, and apparently it's hilarious. I know Randy Ray's just read The Ballad of the Sad Cafe by Carson McCullers, so that's sitting in the list. A non-fiction that I'm very keen to read is C.S. Lewis's An Experiment in Criticism. I've heard interesting stories about that. I'd be very curious if anyone's read it and wants to guide me. I've never read Machiavelli's The Prince, and I know I ought to. I'll be honest, it doesn't immediately reach out and grab me, but it's sitting there in the maybe list, so try and persuade me. George Orwell's short writings on fascism and democracy. There can't possibly be a better time than now to read this, and it really is. It's barely a pamphlet, so that's bound to be read. File again under less fun, Friedrich Nietzsche's Why I Am So Clever. Not a long book at all, but I'm not sure whether it's reaching out to me. Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5. This I should have read by now, and I haven't, so it's there sitting as a possibility. One of the possibilities for September, Anthony Burgess's Nothing Like the Sun, which, as you can see if you look closely on the cover, there's Mr. Shakespeare. So we might kill two birds with one stone there. I've never read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and he said the Green Gome. That's a throwback, but that's also in the list, another slim volume. You can see there's far more here that I'm going to get through. Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. I really need to read that. That's probably one of the ones high on the list because I should have read that by now. Albert Camus' The Outsider. That's the one that a lot of people have read, and I feel that I ought to have read by now. Obviously, Gilgamesh, I think I'm right in saying the oldest book there is. That's a no-brainer. I've got Heat and Dust by Ruth Prower Jabvala. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And much more recently, Jacqueline Harpman's I Who Have Never Known Men, which is getting a lot of airtime on BookTube at the moment. And then some from the 10 books on untouched on the shelf video. I still haven't read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, so that's a strong contender, of course. And equally so, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. And while on that theme of troubled future scenarios, Animal Farm as well. I'm sure this was read many, many years ago, but I'm overdue to read this, and probably for that matter, 1984 as well. And then just bringing up the rear is yet another Peter Ustinov collection of stories. This one's called The Frontiers of the Sea. So that is my collection. If I try and do one of those infamous book hauls where I try and hold the whole thing up, this is the list. I'll post a photo here so you don't have to try and read it all on the video. But these are the ones in serious consideration. It's not a Booker long list, but perhaps it's Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance required reading long list. So how's that for alliteration? Let me know in the comments what you think of those short lists of choices, which ones you'd steer me towards, and even which ones you'd steer me away from. I'd be most grateful, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, BookTube.